going, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddison Hill, and yes, it's time for another Pop Off with Maddison. For today's Pop Off, I'm going to be talking about Jake Gyllenhaal and Taylor Swift because you guys, Jake Gyllenhaal has broken his silence on All Too Well, and let me just tell you, I am already irritated. Truthfully, let me just go ahead and give you guys a little preview. If you thought Taylor Swift was exaggerating in the way she described Jake Gyllenhaal during the 10-minute version of All Too Well, well then just wait until I read you what he had to say about the song, because let me just tell you, she described him absolutely perfectly. That's all I'm gonna say right now. And also just a little PSA for those of you who are new here in the House of Hill. Hi, welcome. We're so happy you're here. But also, I do want to go ahead and give you guys a heads up. I am personally a Swiftie. I'm a mature Swiftie is how I like to describe myself. I've been a huge Taylor Swift fan for years. I've seen her multiple times in concert. So if you are someone who likes to slander Taylor Swift, or you're not a Taylor Swift fan, or you think not liking Taylor Swift is a personality trait, please just go ahead and stop watching this video now. There are tons of other pop-offs that you can watch. I have two from earlier this week because I just want to tell you all right now, no Taylor Swift slander will be tolerated in this house. Okay, now that that's out of the way and I had that little PSA that I am a mature Swiftie, let's not waste any more time because I really want to get into this Jake and Taylor tea with you guys and get straight to unwrapping these Jake Gyllenhaal and Taylor Swift facts. Okay, so real quick, let me give a little backstory for those of you who are not as well versed in Jake Gyllenhaal and Taylor Swift's past. So Taylor and Jake dated back in October of 2010 and they dated for 3 months. At the time that they dated, they obviously made headlines because A, this was around the time when Taylor Swift was making headlines for, you know, just being a normal 20-something and dating around. And B, they also made headlines because they had a pretty large age difference. They're actually 9 years apart. Then after their breakup, Taylor Swift obviously had a lot of material and she wrote about their relationship on her album Red. Now, while there were several references to her relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal on Red, probably the most notorious song about Jake Gyllenhaal in Red is of course the fan favorite All Too Well. Now, at the time when Taylor Swift originally released Red, you guys, fans absolutely fell in love with All Too Well, and originally it was never a single, it was never a music video, it was just a song that fans really connected to. And in fact, during one of Taylor Swift's interviews, after knowing how her fans reacted to All Too Well, she dropped the little tidbit that there was actually a 10-minute version of the song. She recorded it one day when she was in the studio, she was really going through her feels on a breakup, and after that studio session, a sound engineer took the recording and gave it to her to just hold on to because again, it was a very emotional recording session. So in an interview, Taylor Swift dropped that there was this 10-minute version of All Too Well, and pretty much ever since then, fans had been begging her to release it and put it out there, and that's exactly what she did this past November when she re-released her album Red, Taylor's version. We finally got that 10-minute version of All Too Well, and it was even better than we all expected. I mean, in addition to the song being an absolute smash hit and proving Big Machine Records wrong that people do want to listen to a 10-minute version of a song, All Too Well also gave us even more insight into Jake and Taylor's relationship. And mainly that additional insight included that A, it was very serious, and B, that time clearly does not affect the impact a relationship can have on a person. Now, of course, it's also worth mentioning that when Taylor Swift did release this 10-minute version of All Too Well, it kind of reignited the hate fire that a lot of Taylor Swift fans have for Jake Gyllenhaal, honestly, mine included, and that hate fire was reignited so much so that Jake Gyllenhaal even had to disable his Instagram comment. Now, aside from Jake Gyllenhaal making that tiny adjustment on his Instagram, he really hasn't had much to say about the 10-minute version of All Too Well or even the re-release of Taylor's album Red. That is, until now, ladies and gentlemen, because he is finally breaking his silence. So in a new interview with Esquire, Jake was asked about Taylor's song and the impact it's had on the internet. And this man had the audacity to say, quote, "It has nothing to do with me." What? It's about her relationship with her fans. It is her expression. Artists tap into personal experiences for inspiration, and I don't begrudge anyone for that. And then, you guys, somebody call up Hailey Bieber because then Jake Gyllenhaal decided to give his, you know, philosophical thoughts on cyberbullying. As Jake Gyllenhaal went on to say, quote, "At some point, I think it's important when supporters get unruly that we feel a responsibility to have them be civil and not allow for cyberbullying in one's name. That begs for a deeper philosophical question, not about any individual per se, but a conversation that allows us to examine how we can or should even take responsibility for what we put into the world, our contributions into the world." You know, it's just truly interesting to me how Jake Gyllenhaal can have so much to say about a song that he's allegedly never heard, because then the interviewer actually straight up went ahead and asked Jake Gyllenhaal, "So have you actually listened to Taylor's version of All Too Well, the 10-minute version?" And you know what this guy said? He said, quote, "No." Ugh, sorry, you guys know I get passionate about this stuff. I already know there's gonna be some comments in there being like, why is she yelling? Why do you care so much? Honestly, I don't know, because I'm passionate about celebrity news. I'm sorry. Anyway, the only other notable part of the interview is when Jake Gyllenhaal said that he does understand the fascination with his current relationship. For those of you who don't know, Jake is dating a 26-year-old model. Funny how Taylor Swift was right about his lovers stay the same age. But anyway, in regards to what he had to say about her and his personal life, Jake Gyllenhaal said, quote, "My life is wonderful. I have a relationship that is truly wonderful, and I have a family I love so much, and this whole period of time has made me realize that." Okay, you guys, I cannot hold back anymore. Let's get straight to popping off and get straight to the shams. I thought I needed it yesterday when we were talking about Tristan Thompson. Whew, that did not prepare me for today when I would have to talk about Jake Gyllenhaal. Here's the thing. So how do I put this? Jake Gyllenhaal's response to All Too Well absolutely irritated me, if you guys couldn't already tell. I originally read his quote this morning. It's funny, actually. I was sitting with Mama Hill. We were drinking our coffee. I read the quotes, and our blood absolutely started to boil. It's actually funny. I've totally gotten Mama Hill on the Taylor Swift train. Anytime she hears All Too Well, she's like, oh, I just get so irritated with Jake Gyllenhaal. And I'm like, yes, girl, same. And reading his response to it made me just equally as irritated. I'm telling you, my blood pressure was starting to raise, the upper lip sweat started to go as it's going now. And I think the reason why I find it so frustrating actually really doesn't have to do with me being a fan of Taylor Swift. The reason why I find his response to this just so irritating and honestly even hurtful is because I think there is nothing worse than when someone downplays the impact a relationship had on a person. Does that make sense? And for those of you who I'm sure are already in the comments, already defending Jake Gyllenhaal by saying this relationship was over 10 years ago, this relationship was only 3 months long, my argument for that is, once again, the length of a relationship does not impact the effect that relationship had on someone. You can fall in love with someone in a week and then break up, and that week-long relationship can absolutely bring a person down for years to come. Also, I would like to put it out there that this man allegedly took Taylor Swift's you-know-what, and ladies out there, and honestly just people in general, you know that when that moment happens, that can stick with you for a very long time. So I think it's really unfair for people to throw it in Taylor Swift's face that this relationship was only 3 months long. Why are you so upset about it? Because a lot of things happened in those 3 months and they really deeply affected her. And two, as far as the whole, it was 10 plus years ago, you're right, it was 10 plus years ago. You're right, Jake Gyllenhaal has moved on. As he just said, his life is absolutely wonderful. Taylor Swift has moved on. She is with Joe Alwyn. They are absolutely happy. She did not re-release this song because she still carries a torch for Jake Gyllenhaal. She re-released this song for her fans because it is a song that still resonates with them. And if that somehow affects Jake Gyllenhaal because he was a douchebag 10 years ago, c'est la vie, it is what it is. And as far as Jake's comments about cyberbullying, number one, his verbiage during that comment just absolutely cracked me up because that is exactly how I picture him to be. Like, definitely wants to make sure people know he's educated, know that he's well-read, and really just, posing all of these big questions and these big words. And the second thing I would like to say about his comments about cyberbullying, I actually want to pose a philosophical question right back to Jake Gyllenhaal. Maybe if you weren't the worst 10 years ago and didn't treat Taylor Swift like she was absolutely nothing 10 years ago, then maybe there would be no need for cyberbullying today. Again, I do not condone cyberbullying. I think it is awful. I've been on the receiving end of cyberbullying. So I'm not trying to downplay anything that Jake Gyllenhaal's gone through. I'm just saying there's no need to cyberbully if you don't give people a reason to cyberbully. And you know what? That actually did sound pretty philosophical. I even think Jake Gyllenhaal would be impressed. Also, one other thing that just came to my mind, for him to try to sit there and say that Taylor Swift is responsible for how her fans react, sir, keep it. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know this. We are very well versed in the world of fans. Extreme fans will be extreme fans whether or not the artist or celebrity tells them to back off. It is what it is. Social media is all about free speech and putting one's thoughts out there, whether we agree with it or not, whether we think it's a good idea or not. And there's no way you can put any of that responsibility back on the artist. They can post a video message and say, stop doing this, stop posting this, stop. We know Selena Gomez has done this in regards to Hailey Bieber, and some fans still didn't stop even after she asked them to. I understand where he's getting at. I understand that he's trying to put the responsibility back on Taylor Swift, but personally, in this moment, I'm just not having it. I feel like by making that comment, he was just trying to get people to feel sorry for him and be very, oh, woe is me. But for me personally, no tears will be shed for Jake Gyllenhaal at this time. And real quick, before I wrap things up, I do want to make it crystal clear because I don't want anyone to get it twisted. I know that Jake Gyllenhaal and Taylor Swift are completely over and done with, thank goodness. I know their situation is completely over and done with, especially now that Jake Gyllenhaal has commented on All Too Well. There's really no reason to ever bring these two up in the same sentence again, in my opinion. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you on Jake Gyllenhaal and Taylor Swift. Hopefully this is the last time we ever have to bring those two up in the same story or sentence, but I want to hear all of your thoughts and feels on Jake Gyllenhaal's reaction to All Too Well down below. While you guys are at it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget that notification bell. You guys can also follow me over on Instagram and TikTok, and of course, don't forget to keep coming back to my channel to check out my YouTube shorts. You guys can also find all of my merch over at my merch store at houseofhill.com. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!